In 2002, Smithson Valley made its first trip to the 5A Division II Texas Bowl with dominating defense and a power running game. But the Rangers came up short against the high-flying Southlake Carroll Dragons offense, which won its first ever 5A Texas Bowl. This year, the Rangers defeated a tough Clear Lake team to advance to the Texas Bowl, while Southlake Carroll had to go down to the wire against a nationally ranked Lufkin team. Smithson Valley faces Southlake Carroll next. From Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, FSN Southwest presents the 5A Division II Texas Bowl. Today, the Smithson Valley Rangers face the top-ranked high school team in the nation, the Southlake Carroll Dragons. And hello again, everyone. Bill Jones along with Shay Walker. These two teams have experience in state championship games. Southlake Carroll 3 years in a row. Smithson Valley 3 times in the last 4 years have made it to the Texas Bowl. But this never gets old, Shay.
Well, it doesn't get old for these two teams, Bill, because they have both been on a tear through the playoffs since they have joined 5A. And these guys are setting records, and they're playing in tough districts, and they're getting to the state championship game again. So it's a true testament to the two coaching staffs of these teams.
Well, they met in the 5A Division II Texas Bowl 2 years ago. The road to the bowl for Todd Dodge this year, it's been a tough one against some nationally ranked teams like Abilene, Denton Ryan, and last week Lufkin, a 37-30 win. They held on to win that game, and two potent guys on offense, starting with Chase Daniel along with Aaron Luna.
Well, Chase Daniel and Aaron Luna are the two catalysts of this offense, and it's got a lot of headliners, Bill, but this offense averages over 500 yards a game, so they're extremely potent. Talk about a fast break offense, and then the guy that really does it on the ground for them, not only with his feet and running the football, but he's also a very talented blocker, and as you can see here, great soft hands out of the backfield.
Well, the Dragon offense averaging over 500 yards of offense a game. How does Smithson Valley stop them? Well, they got a couple of playmakers on defense.
Well, they've had a tough road here as well, but you look at the guys that they've got on defense, and you go to the middle linebacker and the cornerback, and Pavelic is a guy that you will not do without this guy if you're Smithson Valley. He has been phenomenal all year, and then Sendejo is what you call a lockdown corner, so he's going to have a real tough challenge today in making sure that he can try to hold and keep this high-powered octane offense in check.
All right, Southlake Carroll and Smithson Valley, we're about set for the start of this one. Let's go down to the sideline and Randy McElvoy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bill. The excitement's incredible here on the ground level of Texas Stadium. One of the matchups you got to keep an eye on, Smithson Valley, they feel like they can't move the football against the Southlake Carroll defense. Zach Bailey, the quarterback, his favorite target, number 4, Cody Byer, nearly 1,000-yard receiver this year for the Rangers. On the flip side, covering him will be Southlake Carroll left quarterback Cameron Parker, tied for the team lead with 5 interceptions. Smithson Valley feels if there's one weakness with this Southlake Carroll defense, it is in the secondary. If they want to win, they've got to go through the air. They feel like that's the way they can get the victory today. We are getting close to the opening kickoff, the 5A Division II State Championship, Southlake Carroll and Smithson Valley from Texas Stadium. The opening kick is coming right up.
Two Texas football powerhouses get set to square off in the 5A Division II Texas Bowl. An early arriving crowd on both sides. Of course, the Smithson Valley fans traveling about 5 hours up the road from San Antonio to Irving and Southlake in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. Not a long drive at all. About 20 miles away is Southlake, and the crowd here got here. They opened the gates more than 2 hours before kickoff, and it was packed on the home side 2 hours before kickoff, Shay.
Well, a lot of buzz and a lot of excitement about this Southlake Carroll team. You referenced earlier in the open, Bill, that they are the #1 ranked team in the nation, and they've already played on national television earlier in the season. And you talk about the games that they have had to go through to get here. You talk about Abilene, Denton Ryan, Lufkin. The last 3 weeks have been pretty tough. opponents, and to be able to come through that and get into the state championship game. You got a lot of people excited about this football team.
Kevin Ortega has the football teed up. It will be Southlake Carroll kicking off, and Smithson Valley will have the football first. They've got a couple of good guys to return kicks on this team. It's a big part of Larry Hill's success at Smithson Valley, what they can do on special teams. And keep an eye on number 20, one of the return men for Smithson Valley, as Andrew Sendejo. He does just about everything for the Rangers.
And does it very well, we might add. He's a big-time weapon for the Smithson Valley team.
It's been a long road to this. Welcome to the Texas Bowl. They kick it away from the man we talked about, Sendejo. It's Blake Schrock on the return. He gets it out near the 30-yard line, and Smithson Valley takes over on offense to get things going. Zach Bailey is the quarterback of the Rangers, completing 56% of his passes on the year, 22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, nearly 2,000 yards passing. Up front, the big guys, Wyatt, Botello, Zachariah, Calvin Gore is the veteran, the biggest member of that offensive line. David Gutierrez, the starter at running back, bothered by a knee injury last week. Schrock, Clay Fuller, and Cody Byer. Look for those two wide receivers for Smithson Valley, starting at the 29-yard line from the shotgun. And it is not Gutierrez getting the start, as it turns out, due to that knee injury. Instead, it is Cody McKinney. Defensively, Michael Boydston, Justin Vaughn, Sean Farley, Garen Sanders up front for the Dragons. The linebackers, a good unit. Hanson, Benoit, and Fleps. And the secondary, it's Simpson and Parker on the corners, with Joseph Agnew and Bo Galbraith, the safeties. Second down, 6 for Smithson Valley. First down for the Rangers. Cody Byer on the receiving end, and just like that, Smithson Valley has the first down of this football game.
That was a nice job by Zach Bailey of looking out and seeing what the defense gives you. You talk about the receiving prowess of Byer. The guy has 60 catches coming into today's ball game. He runs just a quick stop route, the defender playing off of him, so he wisely pulls up, gets past that first down marker, and the ball from Bailey's perfect, and that puts him on the first down, and a nice little opening drive here for Smithson Valley.
Cody Byer with 60 receptions on the season gives him a first down, a pick up of 13 yards. It's Bailey, the quarterback, keeping. He'll pick up about 3 right up the middle. Sean Farley in on the stop. We talked about what he does passing the football. He is also adept running the football, with nearly 700 yards rushing on the season. On 2nd and 7. He'll go deep on the right side, has a man open, and it's incomplete.
Well, how about the play call there, Bill? You got Clay Fuller, the wide receiver, who was lined up in the slot. It looked like the ball was going to go to Cody Byers. You take a look, he's going to see the pump fake there, and then you've got Fuller streaking down, and he is absolutely way behind. There's not a defender within 5 yards of him. The ball just not able to catch up to it, and that's one of those, if it has a little bit more air under it, maybe Clay Fuller is able to get underneath it. But I like the play call by Smithson Valley. Very aggressive in coming in and kind of getting this Carroll defense a little bit on their heels.
Cameron Parker, the corner, been on the play fake, or the pump fake, and just beyond the reach of Clay Fuller, the wide receiver. Now big third down play for Smithson Valley. They'll throw it deep on the right side, and the pass goes off the hands of the intended target, and that is Clay Fuller again, and it'll bring up a 4th down play.
Well, that's twice now we've seen Clay Fuller. Talk about it. He was in the slot last time. You're going to catch him out here wide now, and he's going against Cameron Parker, who's the best defender, and he goes out and just not able to bring the ball in, but that was a nice effort there. And you see Coach Hill now giving some good instruction there to Zach Bailey, saying, hey, you know, you had the guy there. It was a decent ball, but when you throw it out there, put a little bit more air underneath it, and we'll be fine.
It's Cody Byer, who does a little bit of everything for Smithson Valley, doing the punting chores. You see a 33-yard average on the season. McKay Jacobson is deep for the Dragons. Line drive kick. Jacobson takes it from his own 17-yard line and gets to the 20-yard line, and that's where the vaunted Dragon offense will take over, a 35-yard punt. The Dragons on offense averaging over 500 yards a game, led by Chase Daniel, the quarterback who's headed to the University of Missouri. Over 4,000 yards passing, over 1,000 rushing. Prince Enright, a 4-year starter. Buford, Johnson, and Stacy up front. Luna, the tailback, and 4 wide receivers. Gedwed, Jacobson, Clint Renfro, the son of former Cowboy and Oiler Mike Renfro, and James Allen. So from the 20-yard line, Daniel, the quarterback, with Luna to his right. They'll look over to Dodge. Calls the plays from the sideline. A no-huddle offense. Not much there for Daniel. In fact, a loss of about 4 yards. And Truxton Fox, you noticed him at the walkthrough yesterday, Shay.
Well, he's a big fella, and he can actually get after it on that weak side from the defensive end spot. He gets through and crashes through and disrupts that play there. And
Truxton Fox, one of the defensive ends, along with Blaine Ertley, and the guys in the middle, Eric Anders, and the linebackers, Kovar, Pavella. Keep an eye on him. Ray Corona had a big play last week in the secondary for Smithson Valley. The rush is on, and they get to Daniel. Going backwards are the Dragons. Michael Kovar. Another loss of 5 yards on the play, and it's 3rd and long.
Doing a nice job of bringing in the linebackers, and that was what Coach Larry Hill was talking about this week was, hey, we can't line up in any one single front and play this team. We're going to line up in a couple of different fronts. We're going to bring pressure off the corner. We're going to drop back in zone. And it's a little bit of a chess match right now, and so far Smithson Valley is dialing up all aces. They're doing very well here on defense and really disrupting this offense for Southlake Carroll.
3rd down, 19. This time Daniel has time and throws incomplete. Nobody in the vicinity over there. And just like that, it's 3 and out for the Dragon offense. How about Smithson Valley early?
Well, Smithson Valley, their marquee is a very tough running game. We talked about them being a very stingy defense. They come into today's ball game only allowing 241 yards of total offense. And they just flat get after it. They've got the strength of that core and linebackers, and then we see Fox making some big plays off the end there.
Well, Southlake Carroll had scored touchdowns on 9 of its last 10 opening drives in games. James Allen, the punter, he struggled last week against Lufkin, and he's having to punt this time from his own end zone. And again, just like last week, he goes off the side of his foot, and Smithson Valley will have tremendous field position at the 21-yard line, a 9-yard punt. Smithson Valley takes over deep in Carroll's end when we come back to the Texas Bowl.
See the best teams in the state meet inside Cowboy Stadium for the UIL High School Texas Football Championship.
We're early on in this 5A Division II Texas Bowl. Smithson Valley and Southlake Carroll, and Smithson Valley with momentum on its side right now after the 9-yard punt. The Rangers have the football deep in the Dragons into the field, the 21-yard line. Let's see, Shay, what Larry Hill has up his sleeve here.
Well, he's starting with excellent field position, and I think coming on the heels of a fairly good opening drive, established a few things, felt good about getting his receivers behind defenders, ran the ball okay. So, you know, right now, Smithson Valley's got to be feeling pretty good about their opportunity here.
The Dragons have never had an opening drive like that one, and it's like a turnover in their own end of the field. Blake Schrock escapes a couple of tacklers and gets the first down inside the 10. To the 7-yard line goes Blake Schrock.
What a nice run that was by Blake Schrock. As he bounces it out, you're going to see him come out wide here, and the blocking is excellent. Wide receiver Cody Byer throws a great block, and then 2 defenders overrun the play, and Schrock with quick enough feet to stop and get his momentum and change the direction right there, going back in and picks up big yards.
So it's 1st and goal for the Rangers at the 7-yard line. 2 backs behind Bailey. They'll give it to the deep man. That's Cody McKinney. Not much there, and he is able to push forward to about the 5. Ball came out, but it was after the whistle.
So they're running in there behind Calvin Gore, the big 6'5", 270-pounder, the senior, returning the starter on that offensive line. And if you got to get a couple yards, he's not a bad guy to go behind.
No kidding. He is a big guy up front. Quarterback's not small. Zach Bailey, number 12 there.
Well, you said Zach Bailey's got close to 700 yards rushing coming into today's ball game and 14 TDs on the ground, so he can certainly do it as well.
So 2nd and goal, a pick up a 3 on the play from the 4-yard line. And there's McKinney again, pushing forward near the goal line. It's like he got to about the 1. But one thing that Southlake Carroll had problems with last year in the lone game that they lost over the last 3 years in the 5A Division II Texas Bowl to Katy, a game played at the Alamo Dome, was a power running attack that Katy possessed. It was a 16-15 win for Katy. They're trying to power the football into the end zone right here is Smithson Valley. Quarterback sneak. Did Bailey get there?
No signal yet. Looked like he might, on the original surge, it looked like Bill, he might have been in, but they're not going to give him the touchdown. It's on the inch line. The Carroll defense got a good surge and a good push, but boy, from our vantage point, you can't even see any distance between the nose of the football and the end line.
Perhaps if he had just reached the football out over the goal line, but he had it tucked away.
You got to believe it's going to be the same thing here.
There he goes, and Bailey is in. Smithson Valley breaks through first, taking advantage of the problems that Southlake Carroll had on its first possession. Zach Bailey on the sneak, and Smithson Valley fans have reason to cheer early.
How about that lion surge by the front guys right there? You got Botello, Zachariah, and Gore like the flying wedge, and they're just able to push that Southlake Carroll defensive front. Didn't have to push them far. They got them far enough for Bailey to get in for the touchdown.
David Sweet on for the point after, and it is good. And Smithson Valley gets off to a better start than 2 years ago when these two teams met in San Antonio in the Texas Bowl.
Well, just power running. They started off with great field position on the punt, and then Bailey's doing a nice job. And we talk about him, he's a 6-foot, 190-pounder. He's strong, and look at those legs driving. He just kind of kept winnowing his way down the right side of that offensive line until he could get over the end line and put Smithson Valley up 7-0. This big-time score for them.
26-5A now, including Converse Judson, a perennial power. This is Aaron Luna from the goal line. Luna picks his way past the 20 and brought down just past the 20-yard line. Let's go down to the sideline and Randy McElvoy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bill. I tell you what, the excitement is incredible on this sideline because if you ask Smithson Valley coming into this football game, prior to the game and all week, they feel like they got no respect. Southlake Carroll deservingly owns that #1 ranking, but Smithson Valley said nobody was talking about us, and they proved it right there on that drive to take that lead. It's important to get an early lead on Southlake Carroll because the Dragons' big halves usually in the first half all season long.
On the first possession for Southlake Carroll, they went backwards, a loss of 9 yards on that possession. They try again here. Daniel on the keeper. Quarterback with some running room. Past the 40. Fumbles the football, and Smithson Valley comes up with it.
That was an outstanding run by Chase Daniel. Just wasn't able to secure the football as he tried to run over the last defender. The wide receiver was down blocking. Looked like that was Kenton Gedwed. And as that block was happening, and Daniel tried to get around. But take a look here at the outset, Bill, at the run. Very nice job. He's got good speed, explosiveness. You see his vision looking downfield. There's the guy right there as he's trying to go through. Looks like that's Sendejo who gets his left hand in there on the football and is able to strip it while he's being blocked. And what an athletic play that was by Andrew Sendejo.
3rd and long. 15 yards needed for Smithson Valley. Bailey throws it deep. Receiver falls down. Incidental contact, and Smithson Valley will be forced to punt.
Well, Clay Fuller was the wide receiver, and you hear the boos, but he was running to the football, as you said, incidental contact, because it looked like Cameron Parker, who had outstanding coverage. Take a look here. Locked up man-to-man, and when you're out man-to-man on these guys, you got to make sure that you're running with them, but never takes his eyes off the football. And you see as Fuller goes down, he brings down Cameron Parker, who's not able to pick it off, so we're going to see a punt now from Smithson Valley.
So the Carroll defense able to come through. Now Cody Byer will be back to punt. His first one, a line drive, 35 yards. McKay Jacobson calls for the fair catch. He handles it. And from inside their own 20-yard line, Southlake Carroll will be taking over on offense again. The Dragons take over on offense from their own 19-yard line, their third possession of the game. First possession went backwards. Second possession, first play was a fumble. Clint Renfro on the receiving end from Chase Daniel up to the 27, a pickup of 8. The junior Clint Renfro, the son of Mike Renfro, grandson of the late Ray Renfro, who played in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns for many years. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Aaron Luna, the running back with a bruising style, gets past the 30, and it's a first down for the Dragons, their first of this game.
Well, you love the way Aaron Luna runs. I mean, for all that you hear about the Southlake Carroll offense and the fast break, the high octane, all the passing and things, it would not be nearly as successful without the running and the punishing running of Aaron Luna. You see here as he gets hit there in the backfield, but is able to keep his momentum going forward, runs over another guy on the way to a first down.
Over 1,500 yards rushing. He's also been a threat in the passing game in the playoffs. Here's McKay Jacobson, and it looks like he has first down yardage. Jacobson was the leading returning receiver this year, just a junior, played a lot as a sophomore last year, but he suffered a fractured lower leg and missed 7 games this season.
So it was in early September against Fossil Ridge, and he's kind of been working his way back into the rotation, and he's the second fastest guy, the wide receiver on that team behind Renfro.
Coming this way to Jacobson again. In 3 plays, 3 first downs, you start getting an idea of what this Southlake Carroll offense is all about.
Well, here it's a numbers game for these guys. What they're doing, Bill, is they're putting their wide receivers out there. You see the no-huddle offense. They're not going to let the defensive guys get an opportunity to get set, but you spread them out and you count numbers. And Chase Daniel's counting numbers, and he sees more numbers inside than he does outside, so he just gets the ball out quickly to the wide receivers, and they make plays.
And they're more in their hurry-up offense right now as they got to the line of scrimmage. A lot of times, they don't ever huddle, but it's not really a hurry-up so much. And coming across the line is Truxton Fox. Let's see if he was drawn off. Officials will meet and decide.
A lot of movement going on. The wide receivers and skill position players were all looking back to the sideline to get the play call. Let's see what the referees see.
Prior to the snap, all sides on the defense.
You get Truxton Fox, who's the offensive line. We're getting set. That was Travis Stacy, the right tackle. That's a lot of right tackle, too. 6'2", 290. He moves around a little bit. You may think he's dropping back in pass protection.
So 5 yards, and it's a 1st and 5 now with less than 5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. See the receivers, the quarterback, the running back all look to the sideline while the offensive line looking straight ahead to get the play. And Daniel will keep. He's got good speed and can also show his power a little bit. Picked up a couple of yards, got 3 on the play.
That was very well played by our man Pavelik. The linebacker was right there to meet him as he turned around the corner, and also Aaron Hernandez coming up from that safety position. Got a lot of push there in the middle, and you see Pavelik. I mean, this guy is just a oh man, he's swarming. He comes in, he backs the guy in the line of scrimmage, and wow, he comes for Daniel. Not only does he do it with his that on the ground, he's over 1,300 yards.
I mean, 21 touchdowns running to go along with 48 passing. 69 passes per touchdown, or 69 touchdowns on the year, running and passing. Hinton Gedwed, there's another first down for the Dragons.
Well, that's a little bit different flavor than what we've seen from Southlake Carroll, and this is one of the difficulties when you're trying to defensively and scheme against this offense is what do you do? Because they've been hitting those little bubble screens real quick to McKay Jacobson, and now they run about an 8 or 9 yard in route from Gedwed, and so they're kind of mixing it up and changing it up a little bit.
3 receivers to the right side this time for Renfro, deep in the right side, incomplete.
Great coverage by Andrew Sendejo, the man that we've been talking about. Look, Renfro is a big-time weapon, and we talked about his ability to watch here. He's going to put a double move And that's a nice job there. He breaks it back out, and look at the coverage by Sendejo. Running with him step for step, keeping himself in between the ball and the receiver. It's exactly what you want to do. You could not defend that any better than Sendejo.
A couple of juniors matched up at the bottom of your screen there. Renfro, number 19 for Carroll, number 20 for Smithson Valley, Sendejo. 2nd and 10, and here's McKay Jacobson. Has some running room out of the 15-yard line. First down, Dragons.
This is the quick strike offense that we're talking about, and this is effectively a running play for Southlake Carroll. You're going to see the ball come out here wide as Jacobs catches his slot. Now he's just outrunning the linebacker and the safety. You see that it was Michael Kovar, and again that was Aaron Hernandez coming in from that safety spot, but they're trailing. They've got to be able to get there a little quicker if they're going to stop this offense.
5 first downs on this drive. Todd Dodge calls this offense a first down making machine. You're seeing it here. Now Aaron Luna makes a move. Luna to the end zone. Touchdown, Dragons.
Oh, my. Bill. We talk about Aaron Luna in the outset and how he really allows this offense to jail like it does. And watch the move that he's going to make out here in the open field. Trey Rios comes in, and he's got good position on Luna, but Aaron Luna's feet are so shifty. We saw it on the other side earlier with Schrock making a big run and using the shifty feet. Aaron Luna comes back with his own shifty move and gets into the end zone for Southlake Carroll.
Kevin Ortega on for the point after, and it is good. And Southlake Carroll has come back to knot this thing up. Aaron Luna, who is going to Rice University on a baseball scholarship, he can run that football too.
Well, not only does he run it with quickness, but watch the power here as he gets into the end zone, and he's able to run right over the top of the safety coming over Aaron Hernandez. Lowers that shoulder. There was no denying Aaron Luna getting into the end zone.
I sent my letter in earlier, but I changed my mind. I don't want a bike.
Oh, you don't?
I want a Ford Escape.
Well, there's not a lot of good feelings on punting from your own end zone. It just, for some reason, it heightens the sensitivity just a little bit.
I think there's not some pressure playing in a state championship game. How about punting from your own end zone in a state championship
yeah, it's not
game?
just on your own end zone. I mean, the fact of the matter is he's not as far back as he would like to be. He'd like to be about another 3 yards back, but he can't because he's already at the back of the end zone.
Cody Byer is the punter. Short snap, and he gets it away. And McKay Jacobson from the 39-yard line trying to weave outside and find a seam. And he's brought down at the 29, a 10-yard return. 37-yard punt, so a good job getting it out of there by Cody Byer, but great field position once again for the Dragons. The possessions for the Carroll Dragons. The first possession went backwards, a punt that was very short, and a fumble on the first play of the second possession, and then an 81-yard 9-play drive capped by Luna's touchdown run. And then a fumble as the Dragons were threatening to score again inside the Ranger 5-yard line. Now from the 30. Same place they started their last possession, the Ranger 30-yard line. It's up the middle. The quarterback keeps. Holds on to the football. Well, he did until the whistle blew. 4 yards.
Well, the uncharacteristic for Chase Daniel. I remember talking to Coach Dodge about Chase Daniel when they were in their first championship game, and he said, hey, you got to watch this guy. He's an inside receiver for us. He's just too good of an athlete to keep off the field. He's going to be my quarterback, but he's not ready yet. But I mean, I got to get the ball in his hands and get him out there. And I mean, as a sophomore, he had like 52 catches, over 600 yards receiving. He's just been doing it for 3 years now for this Carroll offense.
He had played quarterback throughout his life, and then just to get him on the field, they put him at receiver. And Clint Renfro on the reception at the 21-yard line.
Well, Clint Renfro did what you call getting small.
He's small to begin with.
Yeah,
but smaller.
He got smaller, and it's a good thing that he did, because Sendejo, the cornerback, was coming down and bearing down right on him. And Renfro, as he catches that ball in the out route, instead of going out of bounds, he knows he's going to try to lunge forward and get the first. He goes small and dives forward, not able to get the first down, though.
3rd and 1, and the give to Luna has the first down.
Well, how about that much? Pavelic and Luna. Joe Pavelic, the linebacker, there on the stop. And let me tell you what, this guy is always around the football. 184 tackles coming into today's ball game. A big, strong, physical. Talk about Coach Hill was talking about this guy's got a good opportunity to play Division I baseball. He's a catcher on the Smithson Valley team. And
so you had a matchup there of a running back into a middle linebacker, and might see each other on the baseball diamond in college. James Allen was hit hard by Pavelic inside the 15-yard line. There's a flag down.
Going to get a holding call on the outside receiver for Southlake Carroll, as he was trying to get his, looked like maybe it had been Kenton Gedwed, but he was holding the defensive back as the receiver was trying to get forward, and James Allen was trying to get forward. Wide receiver held and got the flag.
Vance Duncan, the referee.
Holding on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Spot of the foul. First down.
Well, Todd Dodge's team early in the season had some problems with penalties, and they have really taken care of that in the playoffs. They have not been penalized very much in the 5 games leading to this Texas Bowl. Mistake-free football, but we've seen 2 turnovers today by Chase Daniel, and very unlikely person to turn the football over because he's taking care of the ball very well all year. You know, when these 2 teams met 2 years ago, what gets lost a little bit because Carroll won a 45-14 game in the first half of that game. The Dragons turned the ball over on fumbles a couple of times.
Well, but as you said, Bill, that is uncharacteristic for this offense. They normally don't put the ball on the carpet, and they've had an excellent field position. And the fact that they're having difficulty getting into the end zone, you've got to tip your hat to the Smithson Valley defense. Defensive coordinator Joe Uchigamba's got his guys playing well.
On the 27-yard line, and Daniel on the carry, got about 5 yards.
I think that's what Chase Daniel needs to do because of the 2 fumbles that he's had in today's ball game. He's gotten those fumbles, Bill, when he's trying to wiggle and wrangle and get more yardage. Just tuck the ball, take what you've got, and lower your head and shoulder and protect the football instead of trying to make the huge play and potentially putting the ball on the carpet. Go ahead and take it, as he just did. We saw him right there kind of plow forward. So you got to believe Coach Dodge and offensive coordinator Travis Pride are talking to him, say, look, don't do anything Herculean, just get the ball in and take the plays that you can get.
Good pass rush and a completion to Josh Reddick at the 14-yard line.
Well, how about the throw by Daniel back across his body under duress? He's getting hounded by Michael Kovar. And again, we see him getting flushed out of the pocket. So that Smithson Valley front 5 doing a real nice job of getting the pressure on. And there's Kovar. He's got Daniel almost retreating as he throws that football.
There you see the arm strength of Daniel able
Gets
to get
it into Reddick, yeah. But I mean, that was a nice catch there by Reddick too, because that was very good defensive coverage.
So a 3rd down play, and the Dragons, who have been so good on 3rd down throughout the playoffs especially, just 1 for 6 today on 3rd down. Needs 7 yards.
Play clock's down to 5 seconds.
Just barely get the play off in time, and firing high as Renfro slipped down. He goes incomplete. Will bring up a 4th down.
Well, that was the matchup that you wanted. Sendejo was playing off of Renfro. Renfro got beyond the sticks and kind of gave you the fake like he was going to go long, and he breaks it back in, and Daniel sails the ball a little wide right out of the grass, and Renfro not able to bring it in. Take a look here as he's pushing Sendejo off. He does a nice job, but as he goes down, he's not able to get back up quick enough to get to that football as it was a little high and right.
So Kevin Ortega is on to attempt what will be a 31-yard field goal. It is long enough, and it is good. These 2 programs are known for place kickers, and Kevin Ortega takes up where Chris Brown and Garrett Hartley left off. 10-7 Dragons. Larry Hill, the son of a coach, went to East Central High School in San Antonio. Has coached in San Antonio throughout. Was in Jorgensen for a little while. Blake Schrock. And the Carroll coverage is good at the 17-yard line.
That's the same guy right there, Kyle Lynch.
Doing the job.
My goodness, second time we've seen him come down. He is fearless. Now, he's staying on the field as a defensive lineman. They like to rotate the two tackles, Farley and Vaughn, and it's kind of a rotation with Kyle Lynch, Adam Powers as well. But, boy, that's impressive now. That's a big fellow running down hard and coming down a little purpose.
Yes, he means business. After all, he is a senior. It's his last high school football game. Stays in there, a defensive tackle. And not much there for the Smithson Valley offense that time as Schrock carries and maybe got to the 20.
We're talking to Larry Hill, too, at the beginning of the week, and he was talking about how it was nice looking at the deal of he said, all the eye-popping numbers that you see with Southlake Carroll, but he said their defense is underrated. They don't get enough credit. He was really impressed with the defensive tackles and the rotation that we just talked about, but he said they're very big and physical up front, and he said that's something that gets overlooked when you talk about Southlake Carroll.
I think it's very much like the Smithson Valley defense, a swarming defense. Not much there on the completion. It is a completion, though. Bailey had completed just one of his last 8 passes, and it is Cody Byer on the receiving end.
Well, how nice is it if you're Smithson Valley to have Cody Byer as your leading wide receiver? He's a quarterback. He moved from the quarterback position, and so do you don't think he knows what the defenses are doing? Looks at it, the secondary. He's got a whole different purview as a quarterback coming out the wide receiver, and he's just not a guy they're putting out there. He said he's got 60 catches, close to 950 yards, and 10 touchdowns on the season.
It's a lot like Chase Daniel on the Carroll side. Got to get him on the football field. There's Fuller. Breaks another tackle and has a first down for Smithson Valley. Nice pickup.
Offensive coordinator Robert Tootin dialing the right play there against that Carroll defense. Zach Bailey takes it out and wings it out quickly to Fuller. Fuller's able to pretty elusive right there and getting down there. And nice job by Fuller, because here, look at it. Here's the quarterback that we talked about. Look at the block that he throws to spring his wide receiver. That's Cody Byer out there doing that.
Against Abilene, against Denton Ryan, against Lufkin the last 3 weeks against nationally ranked teams, the Carroll Dragon front 7 was able to get pressure on the quarterback. Not so much today. And with time, Bailey completes the pass down to the 41-yard line.
Wow. To the unlikely candidate receiver, the tight end, Jason Constanzo. He comes into today's ball game with 3 catches.
And that's a big one there, a pickup of 17 yards and a first down into Carroll's end of the field.
But take a look at big Calvin Gore as he is allowing the quarterback in time to throw the football. He is just a big physical offensive lineman, and the thing that's impressive about him on that play, you saw him pass block. He's more of a run blocking kind of a guy, but he's showing you a lot of athleticism in the way that he's getting out and protecting the quarterback.
Two backs behind Bailey. Flying the left side and gets about 3 yards on the carry. Amazing how the third down conversion rate increases when it's 3rd and 3 rather than 3rd and 6 or 7. Cody McKinney bouncing to the outside, can't get free. And the Carroll defense comes through.
Well, the onslaught of defenders came, but that was a nice job by Cody McKinney. I mean, you saw it when he first got hit, he didn't give up the legs. He kept bouncing and going, but the wave, the green wave of defenders, from Carroll kept coming through. Looks like now Smithson Valley might be maybe going for this here. And you think about it, is it out of range for their field goal kicker? Yep. Looks like they're going to tee it up and go for it. I like the call by Larry Hill here. That's a good call.
They've got a couple of decent kickers. David Sweet, who's their primary place kicker. Cody Byer kicks the long ones, and now looks like they're going to call timeout and talk things over. They face a 4th and 3 at the 33-yard line. Gutierrez, the
pressure looks like from Justin Vaughn coming across, and Bailey very headily takes the ball and kind of just gets it underneath the pressure and kind of throws like a 3/4 motion ball to get that first down. Okay, the boy had the aim on it and everything. He put it right out there where he wanted to. Nice job of Fuller coming up with that first down catch.
pinpoint accuracy, and that's a big 4th down conversion for Smithson Valley, their 3rd first down of this drive. 6 out of 14 for 63 yards. Bailey now with a first down. Keep to the left side. Got a yard. Arius Ford coming up from his cornerback position to make the stop.
But you can feel in this ball game right now that this Smithson Valley team is getting into a rhythm on offense. And they're making it, they're putting a lot of pressure on the Carroll defense. They're being physical up front. They're getting their running game going. They've got the passing game, the little short design passing game going. They're involving a lot of different players and receivers. So right now, this offense for Smithson Valley is executing and hitting on all cylinders.
2nd and 9, quarterback draw. Bailey with some room. It's close to the first down. It'll be a little short. Once again, it'll set up a 3rd and short for Smithson Valley.
We talk about your senior leadership in the quarterback. We talk about Chase Daniel, but how about Zach Bailey? He recognizes downfield that nothing's there, and he pulls the ball. And look at the run that he makes after tucking the football. Gets it down almost in that first down area, but that was a very heady call to take the ball down, and seeing that the gap was available there in the center of the field and pushes it up close to a first down.
This is exactly what Larry Hill was hoping to see out of his offense. A time-consuming drive here. Down 10-7, now under center. And Bailey being pushed back. Looks like he might have gotten it.
I don't think he got it. Looking at the spot right now, it's going to be that big surge up front, but the Carroll defense is up to the task. Looks like he might be just about a couple of inches short. Now, this will bring up an interesting call for Coach Larry Hill.
If it is short.
Yeah. Well, he's got a very good field goal kicker. I mean, Sweet, the guy he said, I'm comfortable with letting him hit it anywhere between 40 and 50 yards. And this would certainly be inside that. See if he gets the spot.
Well, it's a moot point because they got the first down. Just didn't have the football very much, especially in the first half of that game. And Katie was in it, and much like it right here. Bailey going deep for the end zone, and a flag in the end zone. It will go against Carroll. Simpson with the coverage on Fuller. Or rather, Galbraith, I'm sorry. Number 10, Bull Galbraith, the safety.
Galbraith is going to get the flag against Clay Fuller because he didn't turn around and look for the football. And this is the same play that we saw Smithson Valley run earlier, Bill. It's where they take the quick pump fake to Cody Byer, and they're pumping the 6-yard stop route. It was decent. It was very good coverage by Galbraith, other than the fact he didn't turn around and look for the football. Had he turned around and looked for the football, that would have been a no flag.
You give credit to the Smithson Valley offensive line because the run defense for Carroll has been much better this year than it was last year. But McKinney finds the end zone, and Smithson Valley takes the lead.
And that was a play where you see Cody McKinney, the running back, instead of going behind the line, he goes a little bit of a cutback and bounces it back into the seam. As he starts there to his right, he looks to his left and is able to see that there's enough room to get into the end zone. Runs right through the arm tackles and bulls his way in for the touchdown. And he's the most physical runner of the running back by committee for Smithson Valley. And he's the guy that's the hard-nosed runner.
It's good. Off the foot of David Sweet, and Smithson Valley has a 4-point lead on the nation's #1 ranked team, Southlake Carroll, with 1:01 to play in the second quarter. McKinney, he's considered the backup, but he has run for nearly 500 yards on the season, so he does have some experience, and he finds the end zone here. All right, from the 21-yard line, less than a minute to play in the first half. Receivers out to either side, and Daniel will run the football, has some room. Has a first down out to the 36. That'll stop the clock while they reset the chains. All right, back to action now at the 41-yard line, 2nd and 5. Deadwood will step out of bounds into the Rangers into the field at the 48-yard line. 2nd and 10 with 31 left. Daniel under pressure and sacked.
Truxton Fox, the man who started for this ball game off with the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, comes back in again. This guy comes in today's ball game, Bill, with 19 tackles behind the line of scrimmage, 7 sacks, just picks up another one right there, forcing Carroll to use their second timeout of the half.
It's his second sack of this football game for Truxton Fox. Fox in there again, and brought down as Daniel. Actually will not count as a sack because he gained a yard on the play, but Truxton Fox with the pressure from the right side.
So that big guy is playing well. He's coming off the line of scrimmage. I like him. He's low off the end, and he's got that flat back, and he just runs right through the defenders. Going to force now another timeout.
Well, the clock is down to 5 seconds. Carroll decides to go ahead and call a timeout with 5 seconds left.
Well, Nathan Guerrero doing a nice job of defending Clint Renfro on that play. Made it tough for him to get in. Look at the Smithson Valley defenders playing right underneath the receivers. That's good coaching right there. You got the guys in the right place, staying in between the receiver and the ball, because they know that they're trying to just get the first down. It's not the home run opportunity, so you don't have to stay behind the receiver in that case. And Smithson Valley doing a nice job of linebackers dropping into the passing lanes, and then defensive backs staying on top of the receivers.
See, one of the reasons Larry Hill's team is 72-8 since 1996. Over the last 8 years, 72 wins, 8 losses. That's their regular season record during that time. Pretty incredible. 97-15 overall during that time.
And you look at his record at Smithson Valley, 119-36. He's in his 11th season. Doing quite a job there.
Yep.
Oh, and here's the chess match now.
Yeah. Now, Larry Hill will call a timeout. See what they come out with, and so another timeout here. You know, Southlake Carroll has only trailed at halftime 1 time this season. Against Keller during a regular season game, a district game. They came back to win that game 33-18. It was 18-17 at the half on a rainy day. So Smithson Valley trying to do something that only one other team has done this season, lead at halftime, and trying to do something that no other team has done this season, beat them in the end. Larry Hill has them in position here at the half, or close to it.
Well, they've played an excellent first half and a little bit of an uncharacteristic first half for for Carroll. But you look at the turnovers, and here's the thing, Bill. Those turnovers are caused by somebody. It was Smithson Valley. They're the aggressive defense that's forcing these fumbles and turnovers. And take a look here at their regular season run. Been on quite a roll.
Yeah, gaudy numbers there. 70 points in 1 game early this year. All right. 4th down. Let's call it 12. Last play of the half. Even it downfield, and it goes incomplete in the end zone. So Smithson Valley's Rangers with a very nice first half against Chase Daniel and the nation's #1 ranked team. They've been #1 since the first week of the season. Todd Dodge tries to regroup at halftime as the Rangers of Smithson Valley leads at 14-10. Let's go down to Randy McElvoy.
All right, thanks, Bill. With Larry Hill, talk about that drive that ate up serious clock time in the second quarter. How important was that for you guys?
Well, it's real important. We needed to get some offensive momentum. We've been stymied a time or two, had a turnover or two, and obviously the more you can do that, the better it helps your defense keep them off the field.
Defensively, you guys have not allowed really the big play, which is what Southlake Carroll thrives on. What's been the key to stopping Chase Daniel and company here on the offensive side?
Well, mixing our looks a little bit, but we didn't. We can't stop the big play for 24 minutes. We got a long way to go, and obviously they're as good as advertised. But we'll have to play real well in the second half.
They haven't trailed, but only once so far this season at the half. I know you guys are doing something they're not used to doing. You got the lead going in.
Well, the key is for them to be trailing at the end of the game. So, we've got a lot to do still.
Very good. I know you got some business to take care of in the locker room. Smithson Valley up 14-10. They're leading this 5A Division II state championship game. As we mentioned, Southlake Carroll's trailed only once this season against Keller. They rallied back to win that game. We're at the half. It's Smithson Valley 14-10 over Southlake Carroll.
The Rangers have charged out to a 14-10 lead over the Southlake Carroll Dragons as we start the second half here at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. What a football game we have for the 5A Division II Texas Bowl. As the halftime festivities wrap up, and Shea Walker, how about the Southlake Carroll Dragons on their best drive of this game? They went 81 yards.
Well, they did it in fashion that they are accustomed to doing, and it was kind of dialing in all of the plays. They hit the bubble screen. They threw the ball a little bit more vertical downfield, and then they had Chase Daniel and Aaron Luna doing their thing, running the football. So this was the best drive of the half for them, and able to just continue to get their offense to try to get them on rhythm. Smithson Valley came out and kind of thwarted their first drive, fumbled on the second drive, then they take this one in for a touchdown to go up in the ball game.
It was the senior Aaron Luna with the touchdown run. Chase Daniel, the senior quarterback, a 3-year starter, 2 years as the quarterback. It was a 10-7 lead for Southlake Carroll when Smithson Valley put together an 82-yard, 16-play drive.
But a very opportunistic and very much like Southlake Carroll, Bill, Smithson Valley came out and did what they did, and they controlled the football. They controlled the line of scrimmage. The quarterback here on a 4th down makes a first down conversion or completion there. And then they come in and he's getting the senior, tucking his head, running the football, doing a nice job. And really, Zach Bailey's kind of dialing all the numbers in right. You see Cody McKinney crash over for the touchdown, and that's what's got the score at 14-10.
A time-consuming 16-play drive. First downs are all even at 9. Total yards, 178 for Carroll. Smithson Valley at 112. Time of possession owned by Smithson Valley. 4th down conversions, a couple big stat there. Turnovers as well. Southlake Carroll has turned it over a couple of times.
Well, they have, and you go back to the time of possession, and a lot of people say, well, it's the most overrated stat in football. Well, it can be, but it can also be an indicator of the way that the game is going. And in the first half, Smithson Valley was able to control the clock, but also eat up yards, get first downs, win the battle of field position, and that's what's got them with a 4-point lead at the start of the second half.
Andrew Sendejo with the kickoff. McKay Jacobson on the return gets it to about the 28-yard line, and that's where the Dragons will take over to start this second half of this football game. Randy McElvoy had a chance to talk with Todd Dodge.
Yeah, Bill, just a few moments ago to look ahead to the second half, he told his guys at the half, guys, don't panic. We might be trailing. It might be only the second time we have trailed at halftime, and he says we're not getting dominated by Smithson Valley. He said the key defensively for Southlake Carroll, they've got to do a better job on first down. Todd Dodge says we're giving up way too many yards on first down. We'll see what happens here in the second half.
It's an unfamiliar position for this Southlake Carroll team. Opening drives of the second half, though, they've scored 11 to 15 times the first drive of the second half, much like in the first half. But they went backwards on their first drive in the first half. McKay Jacobson picks up about 4 on the play on the pass from Chase Daniel. That's the calling card on the Smithson Valley defense. There's Clint Renfro. He's brought down inside the Rangers into the field at about the 46.
Well, you want to know why this kid is so special and talk about the bloodlines of Mike Renfro, but here's Clint Renfro, and take a look at the ball that Chase Daniel throws. Renfro is double covered, and look at the tight spiral that gets over the top of one and underneath the defense of Sendejo. Renfro able to come up with that catch. That was a big-time throw by Daniel.
And a pickup of 22 yards for the Dragons. First down at the 46. Daniel will keep. Get 4 or 5 yards. That's the thing about this Carroll offense is they're known for their passing attack, but it has really turned into a mix of run and pass.
Well, anytime you've got a quarterback who throws for over 4,000 yards and rushes for over 1,300, you've got to believe that it becomes very difficult to try to defend. But, Daniel is just such a weapon. He can beat you with the arm and he can beat you with the feet. Very tough to defend.
They only have one running back in the backfield, but it's like they have 2 with Daniel back there alongside Luna. Breaking a tackle is Renfro. He gets the first down inside the 35-yard line.
Now, I like the feistiness of Renfro here. Take a look at Daniel. Looks off real quick on the linebacker, knows where he's got his wide receiver. And take a look at the little guy right here, just a junior, but Goes underneath that ball, and he's like, hey, Trucks and Fox, I know you're 205 pounds, and I'm about $150, but still not going to take any of that from you.
Clint is listed at 5'10", 155. His
That's
dad,
a couple of rocks in his mouth.
his dad said that's probably more like 145, but don't tell college recruiters that. We just did, I think. All right, 34-yard line.
He can overshadow that with his play on the field.
Aaron Luna pounds inside the 30.
You talk about the power of Aaron Luna, and you just can't help but be impressed. I mean, a couple of 1,500-yard seasons, and look, he runs right over the top. Now, Pavelic is being blocked, but he runs right over the top of Pavelic, and that doesn't happen very often.
Look at the offensive line average weight, 261, 191 for Smithson Valley.
But that Smithson Valley, that Smithson Valley front, though, is extremely quick and aggressive and very efficient. We've seen Fox have a huge half so far. Eric Andrews is in there, Moxagamba and Ortelli is as well.
Daniel going deep right side. Renfro can't hold on in the end zone. He's got great hands, but wasn't able to hold on to that one.
How about the two juniors, Sendejo and Renfro, going at each other here? Nice ball by Daniel, led his receiver perfectly. Clint Renfro normally brings that in, but the coverage by Sendejo is good. Doing a little bit of jockeying there for position, and that's one that he normally is able to come down with.
I'm really impressed with Sendejo and
you bet
his coverage abilities over here. Third down play. Wide open is James Allen. There's a first down to 17. They like to spread the wealth, and it works so well, as evidenced on their third down conversion rate, around 70% of the playoffs.
That's one of the things we were talking to Larry Hill earlier on about Sendejo. He's like, well, the best thing about him is he's coming back.
Yeah, he's a junior.
Yeah.
Well, Smithson Valley has some juniors coming back. Not only him, but also Cody Byer, who'll probably be the starting quarterback next year. Clay Fuller, the other wide receiver. They're making a habit of getting to these Texas Bowls, and wouldn't be surprised to see him back here next year. First down for the Dragons. Luna to the corner. Touchdown, Dragons.
Well, I've said it before, Bill. I'm going to say it again. I love Aaron Luna. I mean, this guy is unbelievable, and he's been doing this for 3 years. He's a smallish guy in height, but he's so quick and powerful, just will not be denied, and takes the ball around corner. And you see the move that he makes in open field, able to maintain his speed, making sure that he's protecting that ball, keeping it in the outside arm, and getting it in for the touchdown. That was just a huge run by Aaron Luna.
Kevin Ortega's point after is good, and back and forth we go. Aaron Luna has his second touchdown run of this game. Smithson Valley led at halftime, but the first drive of the third quarter, Southlake Carroll back on top. Ortega with a short kickoff, taken at the 15-yard line by Blake Schrock. He gets to the 29, and that's where Smithson Valley will take over on offense. Larry Hill, the head coach of the Smithson Valley Rangers, talking it over with his quarterback Zach Bailey as he sends the offense back out there. Zach Bailey had a nice first half. And the highlight was that 82-yard, 16-play drive that ate up right around 6.5 minutes, and actually 7.5 minutes of the clock. Here's Cody Byer. Scott Simpson, the cornerback, fighting off the block of Clay Fuller, is able to run him out of bounds.
Oh, what a nice job there by Scott Simpson. I mean, you talk about a cornerback being on an island. He's out there at 5'8". He's got a couple of 6+ foot receivers out there. He's got to fend off one of them that's blocking him, and he's able to do that and still bring down the other one after a short gain. That was a pretty impressive play right there by Scott Simpson.
Still got 6 yards on first down. And as Todd Dodge told Randy McElvoy at the half, they got to do better on first down. Creates a 2nd and 4 for Smithson Valley. Their did better on second down. Patrick Benoit, the middle linebacker, number 33, along with his friends. Pete Fleps, number 5.
Well, Fleps has had a very good first half, albeit a little bit quiet. We haven't called his name a lot, but he has been around the ball. He's been getting in and blowing up blockers, and he's also been getting pressure on the quarterback. So he's had a good first half. Benoit coming in right now. And this is where really for the Carroll Dragons defense, this is a big third down, and you can equally say that for the Smithson Valley Rangers. This is a huge play in this ball game right now.
Third down and 6 for the Rangers. Play fake. Zach Bailey rolls to his right and has his man Byer. It's complete for a first down at the 41.
Cameron Parker had good coverage where we saw earlier in the ball game Zach Bailey threw the ball behind the receiver. This time he puts it right in the exact spot that only Cody Byer could catch. And that is a wonderful job of concentration by Byer, catching the ball and getting in bounds or staying in bounds. Big third down conversion.
Got 8 yards on the play. And a new set of downs for Smithson Valley. Clay Fuller outraces Scott Simpson to the sideline. It looks like he'll have a first down, a pickup of another 11 yards.
We talked about it earlier, Bill, but this is the take what they're giving you scheme. And you see the defensive back playing well off of the wide receiver, and it's a very simple stop route. And he gets it out there, and Fuller has got a little bit of juice in him. And he pops it out there, and he's able to outrun the cornerback and pick up that first down.
His older brother, Cody, is a wide receiver at Texas Tech, and another brother, Lance, freshman at Texas Tech, redshirt freshman. Zach Bailey goes incomplete, looking for Blake Schrock coming out of the backfield. Schrock has 35 receptions on the season, but they can't connect that time.
That was good coverage downfield by the Carroll defenders. They ran the flood pattern to the right side, and as Zach Bailey was rolling out to his right, the 2 deeper routes were covered. Did exactly what he's supposed to do, is check it down to Blake Schrock. Just had a little bit too much outside on that ball. Schrock not able to come down with the catch.
See on the Carroll Dragons sideline, Todd Dodge working with his offensive unit as the defense is out on the field. Bailey pumps, goes deep on the right side. Parker defending, and almost a catch at the 15-yard line, but unable to come up with it is Cody Byer.
We were talking earlier in the ball game, Bill, about Sendejo against Renfro, and now we're going with Parker against Byer, and it is equally a beautiful matchup. I mean, this is great. As a former wide receiver, I'm sitting here watching these guys battle, and that's outstanding coverage. It's a great route. The ball is a very catchable ball, and the defense was there, and it was just kind of it's a game of inches sometimes when it gets to that, and you see as the ball goes down right through the hands of Cody Byer, but that was a well-executed play, just not able to bring it in.
This brings back memories, a state championship game at Texas Stadium for you, Shea. Of course, a teammate of Todd Dodge at Port Arthur Jefferson. Played Odessa Permian here. Third down play now, and it's incomplete. Smithson Valley will be forced to punt.
A play that's been very successful for them, and you're looking at some changes that defensive coordinator Ron Mendoza has made for the Southlake defense in the secondary. The way that they're now sticking and mirroring the receivers a little better instead of letting them flood the zone. Now you've got Carroll defenders in their hip pockets. Zach Bailey, that's one he'd like to have back, but really nowhere to go with that football.
So Cody Byer, who does just about everything, will punt.
You talk about that, and keep in mind, we talk about he is a quarterback.
Yes, that's
was
right.
a quarterback prior to becoming a wide receiver.
Gives you an extra weapon in punt formation. They will punt. Jacobson, the deep man, but it's a short punt, but it is inside the 20-yard line where the Dragons will take over on offense. Southlake Carroll has taken the lead back. The Dragons like what they see early in the second half.
Play Championship Week on Fox Sports Southwest. Brought to you in part by Cavender's.
Well, the Carroll Dragons Take that opening drive in the second half. Now 11 times in 16 games this season they've scored on the opening drive of the second half. Now on their second possession here, they face third and let's call it 2. Daniel keeps in a nice tackle right at the 38-yard line. He may be short of that first down. I'm not sure.
I got to believe that was Joe Pavelic coming in there, lowering the boom on Daniel, and this is going to be very close.
Daniel appeared to have a head of steam, but legs taken out from under him and driven back, which makes you think it was probably Pavelic who did it.
Well, he'd be a good guy to look at.
It'd be a big stop if they can hold him here. Nope, but he got it.
Half a football.
There's big number 41, Joe Pavelic. When you talk to Todd Dodge about what strikes him about the Smithson Valley defense, first words out of his mouth, middle linebacker.
Middle linebacker in 20.
Yeah, and then
Pavelic and Sendejo.
That's right. So a big first down to get things going for the Dragons here on the 28. Daniel will run it. There's a flag down at the 37-yard line on the near sideline as Daniel taken down at the 45.
Now, I'm like Chase Daniel. I can always run faster with somebody chasing me. Well, he turned it up just about a half a step to get out of the grasp of Joe Pavelic. Take a look here and see what the penalty is. It looks like they're going to get a holding on the Smithson Valley corner. Wow. But anyway, I'm talking about if you're Chase Daniel, though, you don't know how fast he is, but you know he's just about an eyelash faster than Joe Pavelic, because Pavelic doing a nice job. Pavelic doing a nice job of closing in and taking the angle away from Chase Daniel and really forcing him to go a lot wider than he would have liked to have gone.
Daniel, something to Jacobson. Gedwin to the left side. They just give it to Luna in a big hole to the 29-yard line. There you go. Luna on first down.
When you have a weapon like these guys, like Southlake Carroll has in the backfield, you've got a Luna, you've got a Daniel. But Luna is just, I mean, you just can't measure the value that he is to this team, because here you go. I mean, here's this high-flying, high-octane, fast-break offense, throws the ball all over the yard, but guess what? You got a 1,500-yard rusher back in the backfield there, and he's just a dominant runner.
Not to mention the quarterback, who's a pretty good runner himself. Luna forward to about the 27, not much that time.
Well, I like the play call, but I love the defense by Pavelic. How about the middle linebacker scraping down on the option play? We just talked about the two weapons, the two most dangerous runners for Southlake Carroll are Daniel and Luna, and here they go. They're going to run the option. And that puts Kovar into the nice job of Kovar getting. Hey, you don't think this Smithson Valley team can defend the option? Let's take a look at the Clear Lake game last week, and as we said earlier, get some pointers from Coach Roll and Coach Ballard.
9 carries, 61 yards. And Luna is hit and then struggles forward, tries to get to the first down stake.
On the spot. He spun around. He got jammed right at the line of scrimmage again. Looks like Pavelic coming in. Got a little bit of help there from Kendall Bowles. It's clearly going to be fourth down. Decision time.
4th and 1. Chase Daniel on the quarterback sneak. A flag goes down. The Dragons were not set on offense.
Dragons were not set. They're going to get flagged for it. Chase Daniel trying to take advantage of the defense not being set, but he didn't get his offensive line set.
Before the ball snap, we have false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains fourth down.
It appeared to be a good call.
Oh, absolutely. The Southlake Carroll offense, you could have called a couple of different things. There weren't enough men on the line of scrimmage, or they were in motion. Either way, they were not ready for Daniel to go up there and snap the football.
So now, instead of 4th and 1, you're looking at 4th and 6. We mentioned earlier Ortega's range. He had a 41-yarder earlier. This would be beyond that distance, and then some. And now a timeout is called by the Dragons. They are in 4-down territory here. Southlake Carroll wants to talk it over. All right, 4th and 6 for Dodgers Dragons here. Big play. Smithson Valley's defense tries to meet the challenge. Lofted right side. Renfro, but overshoots him. And Smithson Valley's defense comes up with a big stand.
That's a big momentum shift in this ball game. You go from 4th and about a yard to 4th and 6 on the false start penalty, and then you throw a not real high percentage play with Renfro trying to get out on the go route against Sendejo, the best corner. And that's a big stop for Smithson Valley.
So from the 31-yard line, Smithson Valley. Looking to throw is Bailey going deep. Fuller inside the 35-yard line. Quick striking Smithson Valley. And a pickup of 37 yards. Smithson Valley all of a sudden in Carroll's end of the field at the 32. Now a quarterback draw. And Bailey has running room inside the 20. And down inside the 15-yard line. Arias Ford makes the tackle fighting off a blocker, but Zach Bailey first down inside the 15.
Well, Smithson Valley, not a team that usually picks up yards in chunks this big, but they start with the big pass play, and then here's Zach Bailey very wisely taking the ball, setting up his blockers beautifully, and you see how he keeps that ball on the outside, and he just keeps running up, sliding to the right, left, running up, sliding to the left, picking up big yards. That was a big-time play.
Less than 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter, and very quickly, Smithson Valley with a 37-yard pass and then an 18-yard run. 1st and 10 at the 14. Play fake, roll out, looking to throw for the end zone, and tipped and almost picked off by Agnew.
That was Jason Costanzo, the tight end, who made a catch earlier in the ball game. That was wonderful coverage right there by Agnew. Agnew is 6'1", going against Costanzo. Looks like he's got a couple of inches on him. Good job of pressure by the Carroll defense, forcing that throw, but that was just an outstanding play. And how about Costanzo? Almost comes down with the ball. Rangy receiver. Getting in there, battling for it, but that was excellent defense by Agnew.
4 for 11 is Smithson Valley on 3rd down, 3rd and 14. Here comes Hanson.
This is the first time, Bill, in today's ball game that we have seen a chink in the Smithson Valley offensive line. Hanson blitzed on the last play and got the sack, and he blitzes again and comes up with a huge hit on Zach Bailey. Runs right around, not able to get the arm on him, was the offensive lineman. Look like it was Wade Haynes. And wow, that is a big-time hit. And fortunately, Smithson Valley, or Zach Bailey, was able to hang on to that football. He took a wicked shot from the backside there.
Here's David Sweet, a 44-yard field goal attempt. It hits the upright. It is good. It went through.
All right.
David Sweet has his 9th field goal of the season from 44 yards away. Larry Hill decides to go with Sweet instead of Cody Byer, and he comes through.
And that's a lot of congratulations. Well earned. That ball hits the upright and just gets over the crossbar. You see the referee shaking his head. He's standing right underneath it. You got to believe that Sweet's feeling pretty good about that hop, or that bounce there off the crossbar.
Some in attendance aren't so sure about it, but the referees had a great look at it down there.
If you look at it on the replay, it's very difficult to tell, but look, you've got 2 officials that stand right underneath the crossbar. So they're underneath the upright and the crossbar. There's no one with a better vantage point of them to see if the ball goes over. And Smithson Valley ties this game up with 7 ticks left in the third quarter.
Another look here. I think It's difficult to see just because of the sunlight down there, but I see the ball disappear.
Not only that, and I'm gonna circle. There's a referee right there.
He can see it.
And trust me, he is in position to make the call, and he made the right call.
Larry Hill making the decision to go with David Sweet instead of Andrew Sendejo, who is the kicking off here and has handled the long field goal attempts, has 1 field goal on the season. We asked him during the week, what's the range of David Sweet, and it was 44 yards, I guess. Aaron Luna in a tie ball game here. Fights his way up near the 30-yard line.
Well, Bill, we can go back to last week's state semifinal shootout with Lufkin and Southlake Carroll. They had to drive 80 yards. Looks like there might be a penalty on the field. And
into the quarter.
Into the quarter, excuse me. I see a flag down as well. Getting a little help off the field.
Josh Reddick
for Southlake Carroll. Just had a couple of catches in today's ball game.
After the play, personal foul on Carroll. That penalty being forced in the fourth quarter. It'll be half the distance to the goal, and it'll be first down.
So instead of starting at the 29-yard line, you're looking at from about the 14-yard line for Todd Dodge, Chase Daniel, and the Southlake Carroll Dragons tied up, headed to the fourth quarter. Smithson Valley and Southlake Carroll tied at 17. We are through 3 quarters of play. What a game we've got. The #1 team in the nation. Southlake Carroll last week, Shea, against Lufkin. Southlake Carroll and Lufkin were tied at 30 in the fourth quarter, and the Carroll Dragons were able to put together a big drive.
Now the timing is a little bit different in this ball game. This is the start of the fourth period, and that was at the end of the fourth period last week against Lufkin. But regardless, with 90 seconds left on the clock, Southlake Carroll had to drive it down and score. And then you see here on the highlight package, Lufkin had an opportunity late. Ball got batted away in the end zone, and Carroll advances to the state championship game for the 3rd time in 3 years.
They went 80 yards on that drive, and Chase Daniel had the 11-yard touchdown run, and then they had the defensive stand at the end. And on this possession, starting at their own 14 after the penalty, the dead ball foul on the return, it's Aaron Luna for a couple.
Well, this is a lot of the same thing. First down, Aaron Luna. We've seen that happen a lot here in the second half, and certainly you got to believe that if you're going to have those linebackers flying around and teeing off on your wide receivers, you want to make them stay in the middle there and stop the running game.
2nd and 8. And almost picked off on the near sideline. Nathan Guerra with the break on the football, intended for Gedwed.
But Nathan Guerra had that ball in his hands as he came underneath Kenton Gedwed. And I guarantee you, Phil, had he caught that football, he was going here. Here's Guerra right here. Watch how he keeps his position, and he looks back at the quarterback, and then the break on the football is excellent timing there. Not able to secure the football, but that was very well defense there by Nathan Guerra, who comes in today's ball game with 5 picks, so just missed his 6th one there.
Had a fumble recovery in the first half of this game. Third down play, and scrambling is Daniel. But it looks like
he's going to be a little short
of the first down.
You don't think Chase Daniel has taken to heart that he needs to hang on to the football? Instead of trying to fight forward and get the first down there, he made darn sure he was going to protect the football. Watch here at the end of the run. By the way, great pressure up front by Smithson Valley. Flushing him out of the pocket, having a chance to bring him down around the 5. But watch here at the end of the run. See how he covers up that football? In the first half, he would not have covered up that football. He would have kept it out there and tried to get the first down. But more importantly for his team, he's able to secure the football, but not picking up that first down. That's a big defensive stand by Smithson Valley, who looks to get good field position here.
Especially with the struggles James Allen has had punting the football. The rush is on. It's blocked. Touchdown, Smithson Valley. Eric Anders.
Not sure who got the block. It could have been Anders, but Anders, number 28, was the guy who picked it up on the one hop. It gets it into the touchdown. right up the middle of the field comes the rush. And
it was Anders.
Eric Anders is the guy that gets it now.
Well, he is a playmaker on this team.
You bet. He's the leading tackler in the defensive line with 104. And you see right there, he just shuns off the block and runs in. Not only does he get the block, but he's able to hang on to the recovery and bring it in for the touchdown, putting his team up with a 7-point lead here.
Hey, you look at other Big 12 teams and the matchups for them, including Tech playing Cal. Aaron Luna on the 8-yard line. Gets outside and run out of bounds near the 30-yard line.
Well, the one guy that he bounced off the tackle of was Big Joe Pavelic.
Well, the game summary brought to you by Dairy Queen. Eric Anders with the block punt for the touchdown just moments ago, giving Smithson Valley the lead by 7. Chase Daniel has 341 yards of total offense. It was James Allen unable to get the punt off as Anders, who's a defensive tackle wearing number 28.
That's a great thing about high school numbers. There's no rules in the high school numbers.
There's a flag. Daniel carrying the football. See what
the offsides on the defense. Look like maybe Michael Kovar.
Offsides on the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Well, we showed you a week ago, Hot Dodgers quarterback Chase Daniel engineered the 80-yard touchdown drive that started with about 5:50 to play in the game against Lufkin, but at that point the game was tied at 30. This week, the Dragons trail by a touchdown here in the 4th quarter. Still more time left than a week ago. Going deep is Daniel. Kenton Gedwed is there, and Kenton Gedwed, see you later.
Well, this is something that has been missing from the Southlake Carroll offense. All ball game was the home run ball. They tried it a couple of times early to Clint Renfro. The coverage was outstanding. Coming in now, they get Gedwed to slide behind, and he gets out there, and he's wide open as he runs back behind the defenders. You hear Gedwed at the bottom of your screen. And what a nice ball by Daniel. When you got a guy that wide open, you have a tendency sometimes to miss him, but he throws the ball perfect, and Gedwed takes it to the house, and that ties up this ball game, pending this extra point, which is good.
The first play of this drive, Chase Daniel to Kenton Gedwed, 65 yards. They didn't trail by long this time. Gedwed all the way to the end zone, and we are tied at 24. What a football game we've got. Chase Daniel, who's headed to the University of Missouri, is verbally committed to the Tigers. 16 out of 23, 229 yards passing the football. His first touchdown toss of this game.
Boy, Bill, and we come back to that first down play. All second half, Southlake Carroll was running Aaron Luna, and you wonder if those cornerbacks and safeties were maybe cheating up just a little bit and gave up the home run ball there.
High, short kickoff. And Schrock brought down at the 27-yard line. They did hit him with the home run after the runs by Luna on first down. Let's go down to Randy McElboy.
All right, thanks a lot, Bill. Guy familiar with state championship runs at Southlake Carroll. This is Chase Watson, the Player of the Year 2002 state championship run for Carroll. Now Texas State checking it out today. Does this bring back a few memories for you, Chase?
Yeah, it brings back a lot of memories, and hopefully some good ones, and hopefully Carroll Dragons will come out on top again.
How about that last play just a few moments ago from Chase Daniel to Kenton Gedwed? That was classic Southlake Carroll offense right there.
Yeah, classic quick strike. They're never out of it, so hopefully we'll see more of those.
We'll see some shots from Southlake Carroll's run the last couple of years. What did you take from your experience, especially starting in 2002, your last year here?
Just camaraderie with friends. It was a great atmosphere to play in. Carroll, a lot of fun. And just the ability to come out and work out with these guys all summer long and end with a state championship is what it's all about.
Have you been surprised at all the success they've had, not only in 2002, but last year and then again this year as well?
Oh, not at all. The program continues to build upon what we started, and it's just it's going to continue to keep growing, and they're going to continue to win year in and year out.
All right, best of luck to you. Chase Wasson, the 2002 Player of the Year. Chase Daniel, the other quarterback at Southlake Carroll, tremendous success as well, Bill.
That's right. He's the Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year this year. The 6-yard pickup on first down. Now Cody McKinney trying to get to the first down stake. Sean Farley in on the stop, big number 74. You know, Chase Wasson in that state championship game 2 years ago had nearly 500 yards passing. He had 5 touchdowns in that game against Smithson
Speaking of
Valley.
fives, I want to say, too, he was over 5,000 yards of total offense as well that year. And really, that was, I guess, the Carroll Dragons had made it to the quarterfinals prior to that year. And then that year, they go all the way. And since then, I mean, this Southlake Carroll team has only lost 1 ball game.
Yeah, since moving up to Class 5A, 46-1. But Smithson Valley, which came up to 5A at the same point 2 years ago, playing them off their feet today, and Zach Bailey appears to have the first down on the third down play. 3 wideouts here, and on the quarterback draw, Bailey hit from behind, knocked down at about the 41-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, I am really impressed with Zach Bailey and the maturity and the decision-making that he has had in this ball game. He threw 1 bad ball earlier in the game, but that's been about it, Bill, because he's been just dialing up everything perfectly right there. He looks downfield. He doesn't have what he wants, so instead of waiting for something to develop, he notices a seam in the middle, and he takes it and exploits it. We talk about Chase Daniel and his running. How about Zach Bailey and his running? He's doing it, just yeoman-like work there for the Smithson Valley offense.
With less than 7.5 minutes to play in this football game. Second down for Smithson Valley, and there is timeout called by Smithson Valley. From the sideline, Larry
They've already
Hill.
used one, so that's the second time out of the half for Smithson Valley. Saw something that they didn't like there.
Charlie Stalkup, for his memory, such an inspiration to this entire Carroll team, especially the defense. He was the defensive coordinator. Passed away in late July, just before preseason workouts. Second down play, and going deep is Bailey. Incomplete. Cody Byer making a play on it. Almost came up with that football. He was defended by Scott Simpson.
Scott Simpson was defending, but Cody Byer was absolutely going after that football where it looked like from our vantage point, Bill, there wasn't going to be. Here he is at the top of your screen. He's going to run a post route. Nice job of protecting the quarterback and allowing him to throw the football. But there you have Byer battling underneath the defender. Almost gets his hands on that football. So Scott Simpson, like I said, you got to have a short memory as a cornerback. I mean, he's had a heck of a year all season. Comes in with a couple of interceptions in today's ball game, and he's one of those corners. He's a guy out on an island, and his job is out there to stop the wide receiver.
He's at the top of the screen. He's defending Byer out there. They're going deep once again to Byer, and he makes the play. Scott Simpson. Step for step with Cody Byer. Simpson was victimized last week against Lufkin a couple of times. He was step for step with his man that time.
Well, Des White, the wide receiver from Lufkin, caught a couple of circus catch touchdowns on him, and it's nice to see for his confidence. Like I said, short memories is the best thing a cornerback or defensive back can have. He played that beautifully. Goes up and he keeps his arm on the receiver to make sure he knows where that body control is, and he takes the right hand and bats the ball away. That was an outstanding play by Scott Simpson.
Textbook from Scott Simpson. So punt time for Smithson Valley in a tie game as we approach the 7-minute mark in this football game. Byer had to run the length of the field, now comes back and punts the football, and he goes out of bounds at around the 23-yard line. He's a tired player, number 4. 36-yard punt for Cody Byer.
to the championship starts right here on Fox Sports Southwest. We'll bring you every bit of high school gridiron action until this year's champions are crowned. Watch the Wrangler Road to the Championship on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you in part by Cavender's. See the best teams in the state meet inside Cowboy Stadium for the UIL High School Texas Football Championships.
So from the 43.
Southlake scrimmages from the point of contact.
43-yard line with 3:47 to play in this football game. Daniel with some room up the middle to the 49, a pickup of 6.
But take a look on this as we get the replay. Watch Chase Daniel run the football. Here's a guy who's gone for over 1,300 yards this season. And watch how he knows now, protect the football, hang on. And how about the lead block right there that he gets from the pulling guard? But you see him running with the football. He's got 2 arms and hands on the football.
Going downfield, James Allen, it's over his head, incomplete. Daniel wound up on his backside. Chase Daniel motivated by the memory of last year in the state championship game against Katy. As they were down 16-15, he threw a late game interception. That is something that has motivated him throughout the offseason. He's had a great senior year, the offensive player of the year in Class 5A in Texas, and wants to redeem himself as if he really needed to in this state championship game. Third down. They need 4. McKay Jacobson, what a play. Guerra comes up and makes the play, and Jacobson still down.
But Guerra comes up and like a heat-seeking missile, and he beats the block of Kenton Gedwood. He just flat defeated it. Comes in and takes the legs out from under Jacobson. Going to force a punt here by Southlake Carroll. Well, that was a heads up. That was a fantastic play by Nathan Guerra.
Smithson Valley has some playmakers on that defense, and they come through in the clutch. Nathan Guerra had the big fumble return last week for a touchdown, and a big third down stop here as Carroll once again has to punt. Chase Daniel will once again do it.
You got to believe Smithson Valley is going to bring the kitchen sink on this one.
Got it away, end over end. Sendejo brought down by who else but Aaron Luna.
20 on 20. My goodness, Aaron Luna, what a play. Now, I can tell you what, Aaron Luna is a strong guy. You can look down there at that stocky frame of his, but I can guarantee you, Bill Jones, that Sendejo would run through 90% of the guys coming downfield on an arm tackle.
He's a strong guy.
And Luna's able to bring this guy down, and that's just, well, that's a lot of strength right there.
Wow. We'll start at the 14. Let's go down to Randy McElvoy.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Just huddling up here near the Smithson Valley sideline. They get the football back. Everybody coming up to Zach Bailey, the quarterback, his linemen, the running backs, the assistant coaches. They all looked at him and said, this is it. This is where we win this game. We'll see what happens.
Pass out to the left side. Hanson runs down Fuller right at the first down marker. So Smithson Valley starting 86 yards away. We're down approaching the 2.5-minute mark of this football game. What a game this is. Pickup of 11 for the first down.
Well, Smithson Valley, Bill, is not going to be able to cover this amount of ground in 2 minutes and 39 seconds without some big plays. Now, granted, they will get clock stops like they just did on the first down catch and run by Clay Fuller, but they've been successful earlier in the ball game of getting some deep balls out to their wide receivers and picking up yardage in chunks. They're going to need to do that here if they want to win this ball game.
Over the middle, complete to Cody Byer. Bo Galbraith brings him down, but it's a pickup of 13 yards. First down, Smithson Valley.
And those are the kind of chunks that it needs to come in. That was a nice job of the offensive line again, giving Zach Bailey enough time to throw the football because this is a slow developing route. Here's your guy that's going to catch the football. He was the outside receiver. He's got to run all the way into the middle of the field before he's able to be located by the quarterback, Zach Bailey. The offensive line did a nice job of pass protecting.
Bailey sets up under pressure now and throws it away, incomplete.
Well, that was a very heady play right there by Zach Bailey, the senior. He was about to go down as Sean Farley was putting the heat on. Michael Boydson looked like he was also in the mix there, but got rid of that football and avoided taking a huge sack.
That would have been huge. As it is, got a 2nd down and 10.
Well, not only did he not take the sack, that would have kept the clock running. Remember, Smithson Valley is down to 1 timeout, but also he stopped the clock with the incomplete pass.
We'll run it this time.
Well, Bo Galbraith coming up from the safety position. My goodness, it looked like there was a lot of room for Zach Bailey to run the football. And we're going to get Carroll timeout. They're going to try to hang on to some clock here. 2 minutes and 4 seconds showing. Now they're down to 1 timeout.
That's
so
right.
Both teams down to 1 timeout. But what a tackle by Bo Galbraith coming up from the safety position.
Incomplete.
Well, Zach Bailey had his man, Clay Fuller, just threw it about a hair behind him, not able to come up with a circus catch. And even if he had, Bill, I'm not sure that he was far enough to get that first down. Cameron Parker, the leading defensive back for this Carroll team, was in man coverage there.
So
2 minutes on the clock.
exactly 2 minutes to play.
And a fair level of excitement teeming throughout the stadium on both sides of the football.
No kidding. The low snap was fielded by Byer, and McKay Jacobson will get away from it. Smithson Valley will down it. Southlake Carroll will start, it appears, at about the 28-yard line. Wow.
Well, I think we burned a really good timeout when we were talking about with 90 seconds left. Carroll had to go 80 yards against Lufkin, and they did that with 90 seconds. And like you said, largely on the legs of Luna and Daniel. They have the same, very similar situation right now with a minute 49 left on the clock, with this ball game all tied up. So they've been in this position. They are battle tested. We talked about the gauntlet that they've run to get here. Now, on the last series of the season, can they do enough to win a state championship?
Last year, Chase Daniel was trailing by a point in the final couple of minutes and tried to lead his team back. Aaron Luna, boy, a swarming Smithson Valley defense and a loss of yardage on the play.
Carroll with only one timeout now, not really able to use it. They're going to have to line up quickly, which they can do. But you're looking where the ball's being spotted on the right side. Chase Daniel is all the way over by the number, so he's got a long way to go to get over to the ball, and then the clock continues to run now.
Under 1:20 to play in this football game. A loss of 4 yards on that play. It's 2nd and 14. Across the middle, McKay Jacobson. It's short of the first down.
Well, just a minute left on the clock. Again, only one timeout, but this comes up to about a 3rd and 3. Need to get a first down if you're Southlake Carroll to stop the clock.
Down to 50 seconds left. It's 3rd and 2. Daniel will run it. Leans forward.
Ooh, I don't know. Michael Kovar, Michael Kovar and Truxton Fox. Two guys that have been wreaking havoc in that Carroll backfield. And it looks like it's going to be a little short.
Well, he hasn't set it down yet. Let's see.
Maybe he's got it by half a football on this spot. Well, I was looking at the other line, Judge. I went, that's pretty close.
It is a first down. They don't even need to measure it.
By half a football.
How big a first down was that?
Well, I'm loving it again, though, this pressure that we're seeing from the Smithson Valley defensive front. Truxton Fox and Michael Kovar just came on like missiles across the line of scrimmage, and Chase Daniel is a big, strong guy, barely able to lunge forward enough to pick up the first down.
Wide open, Kenton Jedwin inside the 40, down to inside the 35-yard line with 30 seconds left.
Well, all game we have seen defensive backs lay off. Nathan Gare, who's made some tremendous plays in today's football game, is out on man coverage against Gedwed, and he's defending against the deep ball that Carroll scored on earlier in this ball game. Just gives too much cushion. Gedwed runs the outcut, and Daniel does a nice job of delivering. And I'm going to go back to the Carroll offensive line. Great job of pass protection to let that long route develop.
Got 30 yards on the play to the 32-yard line. Now Daniel hit from behind. Did he lose the football? It appears he did. A Southlake Carroll player has come up with the football.
How the Southlake offense retains possession, I'll never know. But Blaine Ortelli comes in from that defensive end, number 43.
And it looks like the center, Bryce Buford. Yes, number 55, Bryce Buford, the son of former Texas Tech and NFL punter Maury Buford, comes up with the biggest fumble recovery of his career.
Well, how about the pressure? Because that ball landed right underneath Ortelli's legs as he made the sack and strip on Daniel. And Buford comes up with the recovery, and that was huge. 14 seconds left with the Southlake Carroll offense, but keep in mind now, there are no timeouts. They just burned their last timeout, which they had to do to preserve the clock. So what you're going to have now is any play that Southlake Carroll runs is going to have to be something on the outside, something on the corner. Anything in the middle is going to have to be beyond the first down marker. And if that doesn't happen, then this game will expire before Ortega will have an opportunity to try a field goal.
Ortega's long field goal of the year, 41 yards. He's only missed one field goal all season. Has one today.
There's time if you can get a first down, but again, keep in mind here, you're looking at 2nd and 17.
Daniel fires, dropped by Gedwed. 11 seconds left. Third down.
Kenton Gedwed maybe thinking too much about trying to get out of bounds, but that would have been about a 14-yard gain. And he would have been able to get out of bounds.
Looked like he might have been able to get the first down, but he was going to turn and go out of bounds.
Yeah, he wanted to get out of bounds. I mean, right now, you're thinking with only 11 ticks left and no timeouts, you've got to get something out on the sideline and give yourself an opportunity at least to win the ball game.
You got to get to nearly the 22-yard line. Daniel fires. Out of bounds is Renfro, but it looks short of the first down. There are 6 seconds left, and it brings up a 4th down.
Well, he is short of the first down, and here comes Ortega out on the field
with a chance to win it.
And how about the route by Renfro? Gets down in that good sprinter speed, and look at the way he drives Sendejo off the football. Andrew Sendejo is a solid cover corner, and he drives him off the football, and you see the little nice acknowledgement there by Renfro going, all right. We got him in position now. Let's see if Ortega can finish the deal.
His career-long 41 yards, and this one will be called 41 yards. A little beyond 41, but statistically.
Smithson Valley, though, they're going to ice the kicker. I love it. One timeout left. Stuff. You betcha. This is a what a fantastic ball game and a tribute. You know, we go back to, we're talking to Larry Hill at the beginning in the week, and he was talking about how there was a little bit of a sense of urgency for this Smithson Valley team, and other people have reported that's the case because the Canyon Lake area will be adding another high school, and so you won't have all of these same groupings of kids coming together again, and just what a special run it's been for them, and coming and getting back. We're talking about 2 new powers in Class 5A. I mean, these guys, Carroll have been in the last 3 state championship games. Smithson Valley's been in 2 of the last 3, and prior to coming into 5A, they played in the 4A state championship game.
Right. Southlake Carroll trying to win its 5th state championship. Won 3 in Class 3A, 1 in Class 5A 2 years ago. And Kevin Ortega, whose career long is 41, tries a 41-yard field goal to win the state championship for Southlake Carroll. The kick is on its way. Does he have enough? Yes! Southlake Carroll has won its 5th state championship. Not only a state championship, but if you believe in these things, a mythical national championship perhaps as well for the Southlake Carroll Dragons. Junior place kicker Kevin Ortega matches his career long, and I don't think he'll have one any bigger than that one.
Well, what a great run by this Southlake Carroll team. 1 loss in 3 years, 2 undefeated seasons, and just what a great feeling it is. And you know, your heart goes out to Larry Hill and his staff and the folks from Smithson Valley. They played a whale of a ball game today. They played well enough to win, and they did everything possible. And just the way that it works, you know, they came out on the short end of the stick. But well, what a heck of a year!
Man.
And look at the jubilation in Todd Dodge. You know, he's been worrying about this game a lot all ball game, and you got your junior kicker nailing it through the uprights. Last play of the game to win. And again, to get the drive, Bill, Southlake Carroll had to drive, make some third down conversions. They got the big sack. I mean, Smithson Valley played a heck of a ball game.
Wow.
Southlake Carroll comes out on top. And you think about it. 1 loss in the last 3 years.
It's the most wins by a Class 5A program over a 3-year span in the history of Texas high school football. 47-1, and they had to do it the hard way this year. Kevin Ortega sends the Carroll Dragons of Southlake, Texas, to Charlie Land. They used to call it Dragon Land. They're inspired by their former defensive coordinator, the late Charlie Stalkup, who passed away after a 5-year battle with skin cancer just before preseason drills. And let me tell you, this will be an emotional Todd Dodge who will be talking with Randy McElvoy. Let's go down to Randy McElvoy.
All right, thanks a lot, Bill. Lots of emotion here on the football field at Texas Stadium. Tough loss for Smithson Valley to get this far. Southlake Carroll, though, gets it done down the stretch. Todd Dodge, how does it feel, man?
Unbelievable. This team has been through so much. We played this game for Charlie Stalkup. These kids showed the things that Charlie taught them: courage, character, toughness. My hat's off to Coach Hill and his group. God, what a tremendous effort on their part. They've got to be so proud of their kids back at Smithson Valley. But man, our kids been through so much this year. The pressure's been on. I've never had a group of kids, or seen a group of kids at the high school level had more pressure than this bunch has. I'm so proud that we were able to finish the deal.
Time to get the hardware. Right now I'm going to hand it off to the athletic director of the University Interscholastic League, Dr. Charles Bryden. Dr. Bryden, take it away.
Coach Dodge, I know there's been a lot of talk about national championships, but we're more proud of the fact that they're the UIL state champions in Texas Division II. Congratulations, a great year.
Thank you so much. That is the thing that means the most to us. The national championships can go by the wayside on any given week, but this is what we wanted. We did this for Charlie Stalkup.
Go enjoy it, Coach.
Thank you.
Todd Dodge, another state championship for Southlake Carroll. They're going to be celebrating for a while. Bill?
Boy, there are tears being shed on both sidelines. Smithson Valley, you talk about a team that deserves to be nationally ranked. Smithson Valley does. And the Southlake Carroll Dragons, what a story. And Shay, I know you were there a year ago at the Alamo Dome when Charlie Stalkup, the defensive coordinator, it was all he could muster, just the strength to get out there on the football field to coach in that game. He had tears in his eyes, and Todd Dodge went over and said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Hey, I'm happy. I never thought I'd make it here." And now, inspired by Charlie Stalkup, they go to Charlie Land, the Southlake Carroll Dragons.
Well, it's been a heck of a ride for this squad, and you think about it with the pressure, all the national attention. I mean, the Southlake Carroll team has become a little bit of rock star status, certainly in the Dallas area. I mean, you've got people driving from all over the place to see them play, to see them practice. Todd gets asked to be a guest speaker at countless quarterback camps, and you know, everybody wants to know what Southlake is doing, and for these guys to be in the spotlight and play as well as they have all year, it's been pretty outstanding, and what a really gratifying way to go out with another undefeated season.